Hi, I'm Gary from organicweb.com.au and I'm a Mailchimp Pro partner. In this tutorial, I'm going to go through how you can very quickly and simply get up and going with Mailchimp for your email marketing. It is quick, so you might need to pause or re-watch this video, or feel free to watch some of my other instructional videos. Now, I'm not going to go through everything in Mailchimp, but rather how to set up our people, our audience, and how to send an email to those people, and then how to see how we've done, in other words, reports. But let's go across to Mailchimp. You'll notice I'm in my Mailchimp dashboard at the moment. Please don't worry about this Mailchimp for Shopify warning at the top. It's just not disappearing, but we'll forget about that. Okay, so once you logged into Mailchimp, you've got various things happening on the left-hand side of the screen. And I'll go through what the really sort of critical parts are, I guess. The first thing is we create an audience, and we will be doing this in the next few minutes. We'll create an audience, and an audience is a container that we add people, termed contacts, to. Then we have campaigns, and the campaign is the actual email we create and send to an audience or a part of an audience. From there, we have reports and to see how we've done. Just one or two other things here. We can have integrations, which I'm not going to go through, but those are things you connect up. So if you use QuickBooks or Xero for your accounting, for example, or you use Salesforce or another CRM, you can integrate them or connect them up with Mailchimp so that your people, for example, your contacts in those various platforms automatically come into your audience in Mailchimp. But you can go through, just click on integrations and discover. Under content, and I'll show you this now, if I go to content, my files, you'll notice once this loads up that these are the various images I've added to Mailchimp. So to add an image to an email, and I will show this again very shortly, we upload our image from our computer, for example, to Mailchimp, and then we add it to our email. So under content, my files, you can drag and drop files into here or click upload. But let's go into our audience. I'm going to click audience and then audience dashboard. Now, I don't have anyone in my audience at the moment. I'll just click no thanks to this to that message. So again, an audience is our container that we add our contacts, our people to. So you can think of an audience almost like a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet with columns. So there are different ways we can add people. So if I'm just going to click view contacts to get a different view. So usually what you would see is you would see here your various columns and various rows of your people, your contacts in your audience. We need to add people. There are two basic ways of doing that if you don't have an integration. If we click add contacts, we can click add a subscriber. And this is the way you can add a single subscriber. Someone calls you on the phone, you can enter their various information here and then click subscribe and they'll be added to your audience. The other way is, for example, if you have an Excel spreadsheet, you can add people via an import, and I'll demonstrate this very quickly. Now, in your audience, the only mandatory field in Mailchimp is the email address. Every contact has to have an email address. And just to explain it, the email address has to be unique in the audience. So if you've got two partners that share the same email, you can only have them as one record in Mailchimp. You cannot add the same email address twice. So to add people from, and this is Google Sheets, but to add people from Excel or Google Sheets, I'll just copy the content, and it doesn't matter the order that people's information is in. Just copy the information, go back to Mailchimp. I'll go add contacts, import contacts. It asks how I want to import, and in this case I'm copying and pasting. I'll click continue, and I just paste in the various data. It looks a bit weird, but that's okay. Click continue to organize. Wait for this to load up. Select my audience. That's if you have more than one. Most people only have one audience, and it's in almost all cases it's best to only have one audience. You can select whether they subscribed, unsubscribed, non-subscribed or cleaned, and I'll just describe this quickly. Subscribed, we can only send email marketing to subscribed people. Someone that's unsubscribed, when we send an email from Mailchimp, it has a link in the bottom that includes an unsubscribe link. If someone clicks that, they'll be marked as unsubscribed in your audience and you won't be able to send them email marketing again. We can only send to subscribed. Non-subscribed is, for example, if you have an e-commerce store, a WooCommerce store, you connect it with Mailchimp. Someone purchases but doesn't click that little check mark that says where they agree to receive your email marketing, they'll be added as non-subscribed. And cleaned is weird wording, but it means broken. Mailchimp or you have sent an email to that person and it's come back as undeliverable. They've left their job, something like that. So I'm going to import as subscribed. And I'll describe this little checkbox in a short while. I'll click continue. I'll describe tags a little bit more in a second, but it's basically a label. You could add one here, but I'll just click continue to match. Mailchimp's picked up that this is the first name, that this is the email address. Were this not the first name, I could just click there and then select the field that it actually is, such as last name. Or I could even create a new field at this time. So if this was something like a favorite color, favorite ice cream flavor, I could create a new field called favorite ice cream flavor, for example. But it is first name, so I'm going to leave that. Click confirm, click finalize import, check that everything's okay, click complete import, lots of clicks here. So let me view my imported contacts and we'll just wait 1 second and that will load up. And right, so there my 4 people are that I've imported. You'll see some people have got first names there. Everyone's imported as subscribed. And I'll just click this little cross on the side because it was showing me who I've imported, but let's see my entire audience. Right, let's say it's next month and I've got a little bit of a bigger audience. Some people are the same, some are different. I've got a new column called attended event. Again, I'll just copy that, come back to Mailchimp, click add contacts, import contacts. I'm just repeating what I did. Copy and paste, click continue, paste in my, oh, that didn't work very well. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. I'll just quickly copy my information again. That was my mistake. Let me just paste that in, click continue to organize, and we'll just wait. Okay, as subscribed, but now update any existing contacts. If any imported contacts are already in your audience, will automatically replace the information. So because I already have some of those email addresses in my audience and I want to update them, I might have first name already or whether they've attended that event, I'm going to click this update any existing contacts, continue to tag, and I will describe this more. So you'll see now that where it's white, it means that Mailchimp has recognized what that is, first name, email address, but this orange means what is this? Mailchimp doesn't know, it doesn't have a column called attended event. So I'll click on that, click the down arrow, and I don't already have a column called attended event. So let me create a new one here, create a new field, and I can call this whatever I want. I'll just call it attended event for now, and the type, it could be a number. But I'll just use a text type for now and click confirm. Okay, click finalize import, click complete import, view my contacts, and once it loads up, there we go. We can see we have a whole lot more people here. We've now got our new attended event column. Okay, so in Mailchimp, most accounts, depending the plan you're on, but almost everyone has 30 fields or columns of data. Email address is one, first name is another, so you can have up to 30 of those. We can also add data into something called tags, and a tag is best thought of as a label. Let's say you have stores in different cities. Maybe you want to put the store, the store name as a tag, or the city it's in, because you might have multiple stores in one city. Okay. In this case, what I'll do is I'll add, let's do this. Let's add the country as a tag. So some people, I might want to say that they're in, for example, Australia, where I am. So I could just check their names, click actions. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Click add or remove tags, and we could just create a tag here called, for example, Australia. Actually, we're doing city, so it's Brisbane. And you'll see they're tagged as Brisbane. But what if some people are in, let's say, Los Angeles? I can check their names, click add or remove tags, and I could create one called LA, for example, and I'll just click enter. And what you'll notice is that one person can have multiple tags. So you can have all sorts of tags. There's no limit on the number of tags you have in Mailchimp. The only limit is that each tag can be a maximum of 100 characters. So we can have 30 columns of data. We can have tags. We can add tags to people. We can also, during the import, as you saw, we could import people with tags at that time. We can even go into tags and manage our tags from there. So there's a lot of ways we can add information. Email marketing column, I explained, that's the subscribed, unsubscribed, and so on. The source tells you how that person signed up. So if you did have WordPress integration, it might say there WordPress, for example. Contact rating is how engaged the person is with your email marketing. So Mailchimp calculates this based on how often the person opens or clicks your emails. Everyone's added as a 2 initially. But as people click and open your emails more, they'll go up to 3, 4, 5. And if they're unsubscribed or if they're just not opening your emails at all, they'll go down to a 1. So 3, 4s, and 5s are pretty engaged or very engaged, and 1 is not engaged at all. So any of this data we have here, we can target our marketing, and that's called segments or segmentation in Mailchimp. So to use an example, let's say I want to send to all people that are, what do we have here? All people that have attended an event. So here we can see, so I want to know here, all people that have a yes in the attended event column. So here, quite simply, just bear with me, I'm just going to deselect all those people. So I could just, so I'm wanting all people with a yes in the attended event. So I'll click new segment, and what I would do here is, because I'm going to target them with email, I'll leave the email marketing status is, and let's just go subscribed. So all people that are subscribed and where attended event is yes, for example. Or I could have just gone attended event starts with Y, for example. Preview my segment. So these are all the people in my audience, and hopefully you've got thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of contacts. These are all the people that meet that condition. So I'll save my segment, and I can call this whatever I want to. I'll just call this test 1. Normally you would name it something descriptive like subscribers that have attended event, and I'll click save. So just to show you what happens, if I click the little cross here, at any time I can go view segment, and I can view all the people that match those conditions. Now it automatically regenerates. So tomorrow, if someone signs up and they have a yes in the attended event, they will be in that segment. Or if anyone, it changes from yes to no, they'll fall out of that segment. So when you target your marketing, you can safely send to a segment and know that it's up to date at the time you send that email. So in a segment, you can have 5 up. In most accounts, you can have up to 5 conditions. Sorry, I'm just busy showing you that. So you can just choose a field here, choose that, and you can change to any or all. So that's how we target our marketing, is really through segmentation. That's audiences. That's what we really need to know about audiences. So let's dive very quickly into campaigns, the actual email. Just to show you an email that's very typical kind of what organizations send, or what's effective, is this Disney email. We have our logo up the top. Then they've got various, let's call it stories. You might only have one, but you might have more than one. So always they go image, heading, text, button, image, heading, text, button, image, heading, text, button. Nice and simple, but this formula just works so well. So we'll replicate something similar in Mailchimp. So to do that, I'm going to click on, and there are various ways you can do everything in Mailchimp. I'll just do it this way. I'll click create, and I want to send a regular email. So that's when we send an email to our contacts or a segment of our contacts. Then we start at the top. We can edit the name. Name it something descriptive. It's just for your own purposes. So test by Gary, for example. Well, anyway, test by G. There we go. Or test by. Okay. So I will add my recipients. I've got multiple audiences, but hopefully you only have one. So I'll go organic web. There we go. So at this stage, I can either choose that segment I created a little bit earlier or a minute or two ago. I can send to an individual tag. There are various pre-built segments I can send to. I can send to everyone, or I could even create a new segment. But I'll send to all subscribers. This personalize the to field, you can click that and select here the F name. Long story, but just do that. I'll click save. From, I can edit the from, I can change the name it's being sent from and the email address. Subject line, normally you would put in the subject line short, sharp, sweet, something that entices people to read the email, but it needs to be consistent with what's in your email. Need Mailchimp training, for example. And if you want to, you could add a little emoji, and Mailchimp will tell you if you have a good subject line or not. Preview text is, some people see it, it's almost like a second subject line, so you just need to fill that out. Get awesome corporate Mailchimp training for your team, for example, and click save. Okay, so now we design our email. So I'm going to just flip across again back to this sort of this Disney one just to see. So we're going to do logo, image, heading, text, button. So it's loaded up. Things are changing in Mailchimp, so yours might look a bit different by the time you watch this video. But this is what Mailchimp gives us. You can, if you want to, come into templates. You don't need to use a template at all. You can select one of these if you really want to. What I would do is come into styles, and you can change the styles, such as what color do you want the background. If you want to use a different, at the moment it's Helvetica, but let's say you want to use Arvo or Comic Sans as your text. So I would just go through the various styles. The optimize is once you've added content, Mailchimp will tell you if there's any links that are broken and so on. And if you want to use some AI, this is becoming very handy, and you can select subject lines, subheadings, and so on for Mailchimp to add for you. But I'll just go back to back to add. So we've got various layouts we can add if you want multi-column, and you can just drag, actually let me just drag and drop this across. So let's say it's a 4, and you'll see what happens. And then what I could do is I could just come to add content and drag and drop 4 different content blocks in there. But I'm going to do single column, so I'll just delete that. So we can hover over what's existing, and we can delete what we don't want, or we can just drag and drop to add more. Now my logo's already in here, so I'm just going to leave that. It's time to design your email. Let's just go here. Need Mailchimp training for your team, and let's just add some text. So I'll just go here, hi. And by the way, I do have a video, and I'll put a link to it, of how to add merge tags. In other words, how to add, for example, personalize and add the first name, but I won't show you that now. Hi, want to be a Mailchimp rockstar. Oops. Call me Gary, for example. Okay, so yeah, you can change whatever you need to, but let's just add an image. So to add an image, this is an image content block, and I'll just click add, and you can either upload or browse images. So I'll click browse because I'll use one that I've already uploaded to Mailchimp. And let's just say that that's, this image of Brisbane where I live. Let's say that's the image you want to include. I'll just click that and click insert. And you'll notice that it's immediately here. And there are various other things we can do, such as I would always recommend that you add a link. You add a link for the, add a link for each image. So if someone clicks on it, they go to your website, for example. Then Mailchimp has started to roll out a automatically adding alt text. Now alt text is for people, for example, with screen readers or where the image doesn't show a few words. Very important to put it. I'm actually going to keep this automatically generated text, but I'll just correct it because, for example, the capitals and so on with the city skyline in the background, and Mailchimp automatically determined that that was Brisbane, which is pretty clever. Right. Let's go done. Okay, what else have we got? Now, you might want a button here. You could just put a link where you want the button to go to. You can also, of course, change the colors and so on. I'll let you do that in your own time. Let's say you want to add some video. So I'm just going to click done. Let's say you want to add a video. So here's a video on YouTube. What I would do if it's on YouTube, it needs to be hosted somewhere, YouTube, Vimeo, just copy the URL, come back to Mailchimp, and you can just drag and drop the video content block wherever you want the video to show. And where it says source to the left-hand side, I'm just going to paste in the URL, and we should see, there we go. And you can see that the thumbnail automatically comes through, so someone can just click to watch the video in the email. Just for expediency, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these social media buttons, and this stuff at the bottom, you don't need to touch it. It will automatically fill. So for example, current year, it'll enter this year, list company, it'll enter organic web, and so on. Let's say that's the entire email I want to send. I would then preview, make sure it looks good on a desktop device, on a mobile device. You don't need to worry about inbox. Save and exit. So I'm actually ready to send now, but just one or two small things. Sorry, add button text. It gives me a warning that I didn't change the text, so I'm going to click edit. And I'll just change that text. So let's just go, and I'll just type in here something like, call me, whatever. Okay, so save and exit, and that should be okay now. And scrolling down the page once it loads up. You don't need to worry about this campaign link. You can leave that. You can leave all this other stuff. So I've got two choices. I can either schedule to send in the future, or I can send now. So to send, I click send, and Mailchimp sends very, very quickly. Send now, and within a minute or a few seconds really, my respondents will start to get my email. So I've sent it. So that was really easy, nice and easy. So anytime I can click all campaigns, and I can view, I could click on it to view the email that I sent. But even better is I can click the down arrow next to view report. Sorry, let me move that picture of myself just for 1 second. I can click the down arrow and replicate. And that's how people use a past campaign as a template, as it were. They create that first email, then they just replicate going forwards. It copies it exactly. You just need to change what you want to change, whether that's the audience, whether that's the content. Nice and easy, very quick and simple. I'll just put myself back there, the image. But let's look at a report. We want to see how we're doing. We're going to click view report. And here we go. Various things we can do, self-explanatory. Wherever it's blue, we can view more. Okay, that was a pretty bad example. Let me go back to one that that has been opened. I've only just sent that email, so it's not going to be a great report. But let me go to a different audience. Just give me 1 second, sorry. What was I sent to 28? Okay, so let's just view the report for this email. I don't even know what the email looks like, but we'll just, it's got some data, so we'll look at it. Okay, so I sent to 28 people. Yours might be 28,000 or 2 million or whatever. 7 opened. That means someone's open to read the email. 4 clicked. That means 4 people have clicked a link in the email. 1 bounced. Now a bounce is a non-delivery. So Mailchimp sent the email and it came back, a message came back from the server, the recipient server, saying that email address has a problem. Maybe someone's left their job. Unsubscribed, someone's clicked unsubscribe in the email. Various other data here. We're not going to worry too much. You may or may not see this. This is how much money you've made if you have an e-commerce store connected. Content optimizer, whatever this was. Mailchimp is telling me that whatever email this was that I sent, my skimmability wasn't great and so on, but I can view the report. And by the way, it depends what account you're in, what you see in Mailchimp. Okay, well, there's kind of the email I sent. This click performance is really interesting and important. So we saw that 3 people clicked on example.com link and organicweb.com.au link, 1 person clicked. So if I view click map, I can see where people clicked. So I can see that 25% of my clicks were on that image and 75% were on that button. Buttons usually get higher clicks than anything else, and that's why it's important to have clicks. But you can see what people were interested in by looking at where they've clicked or what they've clicked on. Let's go back to our report. Going down the screen just a little bit more, there's sort of a lot of other stuff really going on here. We can compare how our open rate is compared to others in our industry, as well as our click rate. To me, the more important thing is that you keep improving. You know your customers, you're always right for your subscribers, and as long as you keep improving. Predicted demographics, you may or may not have that. Right, when did people open or click? Look, people generally open or click as soon as you send the email, or within an hour anyway. Subscribers with most opens. This can get interesting. If you see any numbers, if you click view more and see anyone about over 10, it generally means they've shared your email with someone. That's why there's pretty high numbers there. And various other information. So that's really reports. That's all you need to know. So recapping this very quick tutorial I've gone through very quickly. Please watch it again if you need to. Oh, and by the way, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me understand that people are, liking the content or not liking it or finding it useful. Also, leave a comment if you have questions. So our audience, we imported our contacts, we added tags, we segmented them. We then created a campaign, our email campaign, to send to people in our audience, and then we checked how we did in our report. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found this useful. I'm Gary from organicweb.com.au.